Hi guys, my name is Hector, also known as Exquisified, and I'm with Sbu.
I'm Spuso Zulu from Sneakers for Change, Swift Lab, and we're representing World of Words.
Yeah, and now you are tuned into TAF
Open Access. Yeah, I mean, poetry industry is very small. I feel like most organizations and other sub-industries of arts somewhat undermine poetry as a form of art. So we're trying to grow it so much that one day we can also fill up something. Fill up the dome with just poetry.
Now it's 2021, we're 5 years old, shout out. And we've been doing it with innovative, creative ideas and all aimed at healing, because a lot of young people go through a lot, mental challenges, and young people need platforms to experiment and to cultivate their craft, and we give them that platform. And it's a great place to network. It's a great place to just grow your craft, not only poetry but musicians, visual artists, dancers. We've collaborated with different types of mediums of art, taking a conscious decision to take healing to our community, because we grew up around amazing people who we looked up to, were inspired by. As Wu mentioned, they didn't have the platform or the right people that would cultivate and lead them in the right directions. And Swu and I took it upon ourselves, like, you know what, we want to be those change makers. We want to be those leaders in our community who open ways and create platforms for young people, more especially in our community. So yeah, we're hosting World of Words every last Sunday and attracting over 400 to 500 people every last Sunday. Like, it's full. So we used to host it in Kensington on Queen Street. The venue was so packed that we had people going back home like, I don't have a place to sit. Like, if you don't come early, you know I'm not gonna get a place to sit. Constantly pushing, because now it's reaching people as far as Val, as far as Tembisa, as far as Pitori, as far as Kagiso. Outside the country, Clayton Mendes, who is a poet from Brazil, and he came through. He asked what's the hottest poetry session, and they like, go to World of Words. And he called us up and he came through, fell in love. We're still in touch even today.
Yeah, that night was
and
fun.
It was amazing. I was managing a poet by the name of Tutugani Mieza, who's currently the national poet of South Africa, you know, and he's second in the continent. He competed in the African Slam and he's doing amazing things. I feel like World of Words is the freshest poetry event in Africa. Us going continental and connecting people and poets from different places. We looked at our individual qualities, myself and Sbu and Tutugani and Kopano, to see, okay, how can we all chip in our qualities to create something amazing? I'm very passionate about performing arts, music, through my company, Exquisified Media. Swu is doing a lot of work as well in terms of curation, his eye for photography and, you know, direction in his elements. And we just brought it together, but we were not very restricting on what it should be. It just molded itself and we were just there to curate it.
I had contacted Hector to donate a pair of sneakers since he's a Converse sneaker collector. And from there we started working together. I was going to host an event for Sneakers for Change and he was working with artists. We've grown so much as individuals in terms of identifying what we like and our qualities, learning to articulate what is it that we're doing. And part of the process was discovering that we are social entrepreneurs. The core of it is always the people and the planet first. We're always taking care of our community. Whenever we make a decision on how we're going to improve and grow World of Words, we're like, how is it going to impact our community? How is it going to impact the young people that support us?
Like, yo man, we have a poetry session. And this guy, poetry session? Like, yeah.
What is poetry?
Poet. Yeah. What is poet? So that's why we saw like a huge gap. Like, people don't know that there's such a thing as poetry, and they don't know how to engage with it, and they don't know that they can love it and have fun with it. They first think of their English class and that they didn't enjoy it. When you come there, it's content that's relatable.
And I think we're moving in that direction too, where it's getting the recognition it deserves, and the love it deserves, and the respect it deserves too.
We created what we call the match effect. So we buy a box of lion matches, and people pay R5 as a way of raising funds because the event is free, and we want it to be accessible because of the power it has. It enhances the experience. As somebody is performing, you shake and it just creates this, it's crazy. And sometimes you have these performers who need to concentrate on what they're saying, but what they're saying is so powerful that the guy at the back
screaming,
they're screaming, and then when the match effect is there, you can still express how this guy or this lady is affecting you. Poets are raw in expressing themselves because it's just there, and someone like Jonathan Lefinya, when he's performing, everybody's like they are holding their
it's
hearts
like
on
this
their,
guy is telling my story. I was walking somewhere and then someone said, I love your poetry, can I have a hug or something? I'm like, oh yeah, and because you don't get that in poetry, you know. So that just shows that we're doing something to grow the industry, and it's beautiful.
The crowd would recite my poem as I'm performing, like what? And that's never happened before. But WOW has just this magical element that is so powerful, and it's beyond what we started. Now we're just a part of it as well, and it's just a privilege to be leading it and curating it.
I had founded Sneakers for Change, an organization that collects and donates sneakers to the less fortunate, and just uses the whole sneaker culture to positively influence young people into positive spaces. And through World of Words and the people we interact with, we've been able to collect and donate over 10,000 pairs of sneakers. And there was a time when there was a cyclone or a disaster in Mozambique, and we were able to assist there, which was beautiful too. We had a thing called a Wall of Wow, where we would give like a couple of visual artists a space to put their artworks. At the same time as Sneakers for Change, we're getting a lot of worn out sneakers, like worn out that we couldn't fix or clean. We upcycled these shoes into artworks, and we hosted our first exhibition, I think in 2018. That was beautiful at Victoria. It's a beautiful moment. First time exploring the visual art, staying up late with Ayanda Mabulu at his space. And the following year we did it bigger, together with Project Space. We had an exhibition for a whole month.
Meghan Markle came and visit.
I had Meghan Markle do a private tour.
My company is Exclusified Media, promoting the finest art through events and music compilations. Besides managing Tutugani, I've also been working with a lot of musicians, so hence the musical element that comes into World of Words. There's been amazing musicians that we work with, such as Carlo Moon, like Sparts. It's so beautiful to find that fusion, because most poetry shows you go to, I feel like the musical element is not as intentional as we are. Because you find people who play instruments, like Segzo Vetis, he plays the saxophone, he's always at the session. And there's always poets. So like, oh man, Segzo is here, there's a poet, except go on the stage, do something, there's a guitarist, people get to meet, they get to connect. We always have like one musician that's a headliner. But now there's a lot, like vocalists, they're all like, oh man, I want to be on. They were like, okay, how can we now create something that will impact the community of musicians? So we started the WOW Wave. Producers send in beats, and then the one which gets the most votes gets selected, and at the session we'll play it. And we'll play the beat, and then the people who are interested in jumping on the beat to go freestyle. It's just this beautiful vibe of vocalists, rappers going after one another. The crowd would now vote who killed the beat. You get to win the beat, sponsored by the producer. So we give an opportunity for musicians and producers to collaborate. And we kind of sponsor studio time. We just connect them and make it happen, and then they get to perform it again at the next session.
It's nice when there's a safe space where you can experiment, because when you have these things and these ideas, like, hey, we're gonna be judged. What if it doesn't work?
So WOW, it's whereby we don't hold back.
We just do your thing.
You wanna do that? Let's do it. We've collaborated with an organization in our community which is also doing amazing work, Makers Valley. And we got support from them Collaboration makes you tap into other resources and a new crowd as well.
You don't have money to pay people.
Ish.
So you're like, yo, can you do a poster for us, and then we'll see what we can bring to the table. Most young people use capital or finances as a barrier, and all you need is just people as resources, because someone has a know-how or has something you can use, social capital, and just trade exchange. Money can come later when we all have money. There's no reason why I should charge you 2,000 rands when there's something I can get from you. You know?
The guy who does our posters, I remember he just enrolled into a graphic design school. He wasn't the greatest designer, but right now, his name is Cupid of Gorilla Media. He made sure that, yo, Hector, when you guys need something, I'm there. So there was that collaborative spirit, and a lot of people see our visuals. Who does your posters? And they're like, yeah, Cupid does our posters. There's too much power in collaboration, and I think it's what every young people or every creative needs to start adopting as a culture for themselves. Even the recent campaign for gender-based violence with the collaboration with Constitutional Hill, like, collaboration is key for growth and for learning.
When the rise of gender-based violence was at its peak, and we used the platform to have those conversations.
The aim of the pledge was to say, okay, we want to show solidarity and stand up as well, for the fight against gender-based violence, but at the same time start conversations, because people shy away that not all men, and then they leave it like that. But now they don't even want to engage. So we were also like trying to break those walls. Like, we need to talk about this thing. Through collaboration, we got linked to the Troyville House, which is an amazing heritage house, which has a beautiful garden. And we now plan to, like, okay, we're going to move all of words from this small venue to a bigger venue. And then COVID.
It was very frustrating. We've been just doing a lot of pop-up events. The last one we did at Cornhill, which was beautiful. We had a poet explain a poem, almost all his poem, and the thought behind it, what was he experiencing when he went through that, doing poetry workshops. We've
collaborated with Hill Brood coffee shop in Joel City. You can order the taste of the world at Hill Brood. There's a sandwich that's named after our event, and I think it's one of the coolest things ever. Keeping the brand and the momentum going, not only limiting it to the event, not limiting it to people coming together.
We want the people who attend, the poets who come to WOW, to also take poetry as a career, to make money from it. And how you do that is by archiving, by publishing their books, by making sure that people can access and buy a tangible thing that they can look at or read outside of the poetry sessions. Because the idea was, once we move to a bigger space, we have ideas of making it sustainable financially, and then we can hire a team. This is what you do.
We preach mobilizing young people. We preach that we want creatives and artists to thrive and make money, but we now also need to play that role and lead, by booking them and paying them. And we're heading in that direction, and I think we are getting there. Like 5-2, we're there. We've been using lockdown to identify potential partners, so that the conversation is beyond just, poets. I think the only places that have been supporting the poetry industry is theaters. In most places, you'd find poetry in theaters, Joburg Theater, State Theater, Market Theater. I think we were like the first to we're going to be hosting it outside in a garden, and it's just beautiful energy. We want to be in a position to have conversations with sponsors. We've been trying to reach out to Lion Matches, because we're buying boxes of matches and people love it. And now it's like, it's a trigger, when people see a box of matches, they just think, wow. And it's like a happy moment, even when they're at home, So before COVID, we were working with a brand called Urban Art, and they were so dedicated to being our partner and adding these ideas. They gave us a keychain, which we put inside one of the match boxes. There would be somebody randomly who would find the keychain in the box, and Urban Art would sponsor a whole outfit for that person, or a sneaker. Like, they were giving away merch. And then when we had the slam competition, they sponsored the 5,000 Rand prize. And it was just so amazing to finally have a corporate and merch.
And whoever came to showcase at our event would get merch.
Would get merch. Archiving is very important, because right now, if we were archiving, we could just be, during lockdown, people could just still go to YouTube and watch, relive those experiences. But unfortunately, but we will get there. Definitely. I've got this alter ego called Rika Son. So Rika Son, some call me San Rika. So Rika Son will pull up and perform. Find madame, Ishi, find madame. And it will be a vibe,